Hey gang, and welcome back. This week we're going to take a look at another top 10 list. This week we're going to look at my top 10 EDH lands. Before we begin, let's start with an honorable mention. Command Tower. Since the introduction of Commander decks back in 2011, Command Tower has quickly become one of the most prominent cards in any EDH deck that runs 2 or more colors. Coming into play untapped, and tapping for any color or commander costs is always a great land to have. Command Tower, we love ya. Let's get into the list. Number 10. Bojuka Bog. Bojuka Bog is one of those cards that helps shut down a lot of decks in EDH that use their graveyard as extensions of their hand. Being able to exile an entire graveyard simply by playing this land is huge. I normally wouldn't advocate playing too many lands that come into play tapped, but Bojuka Bog does enough that it merits a spot. Couple it with a card like Crop Rotation or Knight of the Reliquary, you're able to do this at an instant speed, meaning you don't have to play it on your turn. Number 9. The Fetch Lands. Multi-format All-Stars, Fetch Lands allow us to be able to find any land we want as long as it has one of the relevant basic land types. Thankfully, we saw a bunch of reprints in Khans of Tarkir, making fetches even more affordable and easily accessible. They're not flashy and they can sometimes cause you to take 3 damage to the face, but they get the job done really well. Number 8. Maze of Ith. Dating back to its initial printing in the dark, Maze of Ith has done a great job of shutting down Voltron deck for years. Admittedly, you have to be able to target the creature for Maze to be of any use, but it's not just limited to stopping Voltron creatures. You can use it to stop taking lethal, you can use it politically to stop an opponent from taking lethal. Lots of options are available when you have Maze of Ith on the field. The only downside to the land is that it doesn't tap for mana, but thankfully cards like Chromatic Lantern and Prismatic Omens fix this issue nicely. Number 7. This is actually a twofer, so Volrath Stronghold and Academy Ruins. Oftentimes I've seen these lands referred to as spell lands. Providing us with colorless mana, these lands also do double duty by providing us with reusable and exploitable tap abilities. Volrath offers a great way for any black deck to put a creature back on top of their library, saving it from exile, or just getting back value. Academy Ruins, however, is often used to no good, creating a very degenerate combo involving Mindslaver, an opponent, and not being able to let them play their turns. Number 6. Command Beacon. The newest land to be on this list, Command Beacon has only been around for a couple months, at least as of recording this video. For many players who build around their commander, one of the hardest things to get over is when your commander dies repeatedly. Let's say you're playing Niv Mizzet and you're about to combo off. He eats a removal spell and this is the 3rd time. That means the next time you have to cast Niv Mizzet, it's going to cost you 12 mana. That's almost enough to sit you back a whole turn before comboing off again. Thankfully, Command Beacon eliminates his commander tax for a one-time use. It's not the best in every deck, like Prosh probably wouldn't necessarily want it since you want to go big with him, but I could easily see a lot of commanders valuing this card highly. Number 5. The Counterlands. Caverns of Soul and Boseiju Who Shelters All. This isn't the first and it's not the last double pairing for this list. One of the best ways to deal with a threat, especially in blue, is to often counter that spell. By playing Caverns or Boseiju, you effectively remove that option from your opponent's choices. Somewhat narrow, as Boseiju only hits sorceries and instants, and Cavern only hits the creature type you pick, these cards still are worth running. Number 4. Dual Lands. Now, I'm not going to be elitist and say that the original dual lands are the best, but they kinda are because they have very little downside. This doesn't mean you have to run them, because the shock lands do a really good job, and I even like the Tango lands from Battle for Zendikar. Essentially, almost any dual land is a good option, provided you don't run too many of the ones that come into play tapped. Having access to ways of tapping for more than just one type of mana is critical to having a good and smoothly running deck. Number 3. Strip Mine. Strip Mine is this high up the list because of mainly one reason. Other people don't run fair lands. It doesn't fetch them a land like Ghost Quarter does, it doesn't have a restriction like Tectonic Edge does, it simply blows up a land. Is your opponent planning on abusing Mindslaver? Blow up his Academy Ruins. If you're looking for a land that'll kill other lands, Strip Mine is the best there is at what it does, but what it does isn't very nice. Number 2. Cabal Coffers and Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth. I'm including these together because chances are if someone's running Cabal Coffers, they're running Urborg. One of the strongest things you can do in EDH is outramp your opponents. Being able to cast 6 drops while your opponents are stuck on 3 drops is a big deal. Do not make the mistake that I did in one of my gameplays, allowing Cabal Coffers to be on the field for more than one turn. For every turn that a Cabal Coffers untaps means you're that much closer to being dead. Number 1. Islands. The most broken thing about islands is the fact that you can run up to 99 islands if you want to. They're the strongest basic, they let you do the worst things, and they're one of the hardest cards to deal with. But seriously, my real number one is Gaia's Cradle. Technically speaking, if Karakas was legal in EDH, this number one spot would pretty much be dedicated to it, but thankfully, that's not the case. Gaia's Cradle is probably the strongest land in EDH, mostly because it does exactly what green wants to do: ramp and ramp hard. If I had to list the two strongest effects in EDH that'll help you win, the first would be card draw and the second would be ramp. In my opinion, the reason that Gaia's Cradle is so good is because it single-handedly is able to check off that second point. Yes, you have to have creatures on the field in order for it to be of any use, but this also isn't a land that you just run out like a basic forest. Careful consideration should go into when you play this card and when you tap it. It's unfortunate that this card is on the reserve list because it's so much fun to play with in EDH. Anyway guys, that's my top 10 list on top 10 EDH lands. It's a really controversial topic, I'm sure, because a lot of lands have a lot of special places in a lot of people's hearts, but these are mine. Let me know your top 10 EDH land lists in the comments below, and as always, thank you for watching, and please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more.